Cheers and welcome my friends, I'm Horath and this is gonna be my Gamescom footage and analysis of Mount & Blade 2 Bannerlord. If you've been following the channel for a while, you know that I'm a huge fan of Mount & Blade, so I was extremely happy that the developer of the game, Taleworlds, gave me the opportunity to play the game myself for 30 minutes at Gamescom. What's more, they also allowed me to capture my play session so I can share it with you guys. Sadly, it didn't record my sound for some reason. The version I played definitely had sound, but I think being able to see the game in action is what counts. At the demo version, we had 3 characters to choose from. Don't worry, in the full game you're definitely gonna be able to create your own full character, but for the demo purposes they just gave us 3 that we could choose from. So on the left I choose the Nord hero, then there was also the one from the Corradian Empire, and then the Kurgid Steppe Nomad character. And this is us, and one of the things that you notice right here is that my character here, my avatar on the campaign map, does have the same equipment, shows all the equipment that he currently has equipped, which is different from Mount & Blade Warband, where it was just like a standard avatar sprite symbol. And now we're in the city, and I'm trying to recruit my first companion, Sigga Willowbark. And you'll notice that in this interface, you can basically jump to any character just by selecting them from that quick bar at the top, which is awfully nice. No more running around trying to find things. You can just go in there and do your thing. That's going to save you so much time, which is especially important if you are looking forward to spending hundreds and hundreds of hours in a world. It doesn't really annoy you too much if you're just playing 40 hours or something, but after a couple of 100 hours, every click that you're making that is too many is gonna go on your nerves. So I'm extremely happy that they are pushing so hard for a better interface and better usability. Like, we came in here with 1 click and then we talked with her, the companion, and now we recruited her, and now we can just move back to the city window. On the top right you have the notables of the city. And these are the guys that will allow you to recruit the troops, and depending on your standing with them, you can recruit more and better troops from them or less. So as you keep fulfilling quests for them and pushing your relationship, you're also going to be able to benefit from that in one form or another. And I'm going to do that 2 times here in this footage, and you will see that we are actually able to recruit more troops. So one thing that I want to direct your attention to is the fact that as we recruit these troops here, you'll see that the speed of the army is going down and our daily wages are going up. And the difference, how that's going to change with this recruitment, are being shown directly in the screen, which is pretty nice, just to get a feel if you are actually gonna make a big dent in your finances here. So I was in the city and I thought, let's just try out the quests. Every one of these guys has a quest, as is shown by the exclamation mark, which is the standard for RPGs. I could live without it, but it serves its purpose, so I'm actually happy that it does exist. And there we just are talking with Timir, the Victualler, and he has a quest for us. So he owns the wood workshop, and he wants us to help one of his kin who has been accused of murder. One thing that you'll recognize here is that we have a relationship with him. We're currently exactly in the middle, so our relationship with him is 0. He doesn't hate us, he doesn't like us, but he has that quest for us, and if we finish it, we'll be able to recruit more troops. We're also going to get some money. So the fact of the matter is that his kin's person has been accused of murder, and he wants us to be her champion, because the other notable representing the murdered person has shelled out and has spent a lot of money to get a real champion where she has no chance to go free. As you can see, we're here inside the city, and I'm pressing the Alt button, which means all the things that you can interact with are lighting up. And so we'll go, and we have to talk with the judge first, and the judge is in the Lord's Hall, where we're going to now. And I'm pressing the Alt button again, and there you can see the judge light up. The other 2 guys that are in here with the yellow names are lords. And it makes sense that they would hang out in the Lord's Hall. So we're going to talk with the judge, and the judge says he doesn't really care how this goes. It's just better to have a fight than to do a coin flip, but what he wants us to do is talk with both the accused and the accuser. Or rather, I mean, the accuser is dead, and the murder victim is dead, but the kinsman of the murderer, who's a notable. We've got to talk with both, hear both the stories, and then we can decide if we actually want to fight for her. I don't really like how his face looks. Like, that is a very individual face that you would expect. There are no more samey looking people here, which is definitely one of the strengths of this character editor. So now I'm talking with the Lord, which I didn't know at the time that this was a Lord, but it is kind of made visible by him having some nice armor plates and stuff. And he also has quests, which is being shown. So now I'm getting out of the Lord's Hall, and I gotta go to the dungeon. Gotta talk with the accused first. Pressing Alt, and I see that she's down there. And I'm thinking to myself, I guess I gotta go down further. So what we're doing is we're moving down here. And these places really do look lived in. I kind of like that. Now, it is a bit weird that all the doors are open in the dungeon, but I guess these guys can't really flee because there's a guard at the very top. But it definitely has like a medieval feel to it, like these dank cellars. We have a ton of those in Europe. Even in the town where I grew up in, we had these dank cellars. So that is all very, very fitting. Okay, so we're talking with her now. Sigga Longknife, she's the accused. And she's like, "Are you any good?" And then you can be friendly, or you can say, "I'm the best that you got." Just talking through this with her, it's interesting to see that she has like the idle animation of cleaning the room, which is not something that I would waste my time on if I was incarcerated, but I guess you gotta keep busy, take your mind off the things that are gonna happen to you if you're being found guilty. So she tells her story. She had just like some beef with her neighbor, and they got in a fight, and he died. Let's talk really quick about the quest log here. So you can see that we have a certain amount of time remaining, which is in the upper right corner. We have the quest giver with his portrait. Then we have what we have to do, like all the tasks that belong to this quest. And then we also have the names of the involved persons, which I'm expecting, if this works at all like Mount & Blade Warband did, then once you click on these names, then you'll be brought to a character page or something in sort of a hyperlink style. And I really like how this looks. It looks much more like a role-playing game than what we had in Mount & Blade Warband. It's very nice, stylized interface, and it's very, very easy to read. You see the time that you still have remaining, you see what you have to do. I really enjoy this. Okay, moving on. We are getting out of the dungeon. We gotta talk with the accuser who's in the city. We know that he's called something the Scroll. And I didn't know that at the time, but I could just click on him on the upper right corner of the screen. Just click on him and I would be transported to him directly. This allows us to see some of the scenes though. I'm pressing Alt now, and you can see all the different areas that I could go, and I see him, Lasvak of the Scroll, on the left next to the Lord's Hall, which makes me think I gotta go back to the Lord's Hall and then leave the Lord's Hall towards the city, and that should probably help me. The fact of the matter is, I'm just still thinking in Mount & Blade Warband terms, where those were the kinds of roundabouts you had to take. I could have just selected him from that top right bar and talk with him directly instead of having to run around the city. But yeah, at least you get to see some of the city scenes, which do look very, very nice. Looks to me like they're pretty much ready here. Like if they also have to build each of these cities and each of these scenes, that is definitely a ton of work. That takes a lot of time. So now we left the Lord's Hall and we're moving down. This is a really, really nice view. Like coming out of the fortress, you have some graphical glitches there. Obviously, this is work in progress. It's also in the top right corner, so not everything is perfect. This will definitely get more polish. And there's Lasvak of the Scroll. And he's one of the other notables. So if we decide to go against him, we are not going to be his best friend. So we're going to tell him we volunteered for the fight. I guess we can choose different wordings. I'm not sure if they have any sort of impact on if he likes us or not. But he tells us that he's not happy that his kinsman got murdered by Sigga Longknife, and he paints her in a very dark light. And I'm just going to tell him I really don't believe this man. And I mean, she doesn't really have a chance, right? She needs a champion. If he just goes down the the route of sending a champion and having this decided by the sword. But yeah, we talked with him. That's all that the judge really wanted. And so now we're gonna go back to the Lord's Hall, and I'm just gonna use the tab for that, so that we're a little bit quicker in terms of moving around. So I'm gonna go to the Keep, Lord's Hall, and tell the judge that we are ready to do this. The other Lord has gone now. I guess he's in some other area of the Keep. It's nice that they're not always sitting at the same post, but I guess the judge doesn't really have a lot to do. And now we're directly transported into this fight. So we're fighting for her not being executed. We're basically going to decide who's right, the old-fashioned way, with axe and shield. And this dude is actually... What took me aback was that you now have directional shield blocking. Shield blocking is no longer omnidirectional, which is a bit of a problem, right? You have to block in the direction where the blow is coming from. I still managed to take him down, but that could have definitely gone better. Okay, so my renown is now up. You can see also that my relation decreased with the dashback of the scroll. That's just because I took the other side, and he's not happy about that. There are other quests that are not going to reduce your relations with them, so I guess you just have to always think about the trade-off that you're about to make if you're gonna do quests for one dude and see your relation with another one deteriorate. You also had that in Warband, where they were asking you to, for example, go and collect the taxes in the city, and then if you did that and you pushed the townspeople hard and got as many taxes out of them as possible, the Lord was happy, the townspeople weren't. But I'm pretty sure that you can sort of equalize that with other things. There you can see that you can switch between the parties and the people in the town. The game is telling me to buy food, but I am apparently more inclined to just go ahead and buy Brogomir some nice armor, because that's definitely what you need. You can see that we have, if we just pause in here for a second, you see that on the left side is all the stuff that the city has. It is sorted in various categories, which are in the middle. You have a civilian and a military outfit. So currently we're seeing the military outfit of Brogomir, and that is exactly what you see on the avatar out on the campaign map, which I really, really like. And so the city has everything. Then it has weapons, armor, shields, horses, and foodstuffs and trade goods. And you see them on the left. On the right, you see the amount of stuff that our party can carry. So we currently own 3 saddle horses and 1 bag of flour, which is not enough. We also have a ton of money, though. And I should have probably bought some food, but instead I was kind of intent on buying some armor. So we're just gonna continue to let it run here. And what you can see is I'm coming to grips with the civilian and the battle outfit. Some of the Mount and Blade mods already had that, like for example, and even the Viking Conquest DLC had the distinction between civilian outfit and military outfit. Kind of makes sense that you wouldn't go everywhere with your chainmail on, because it is quite heavy. There's no real need to have that on at all times, unless you're super paranoid. And there you can see it's much, much easier to equip your guys. Just drag and drop whatever you want. You can see that I would have to pay 1150. Actually, not sure what it's called here. Ducats, I guess? Guilders? Penningers? I'm not sure. But yeah, I'm looking through the different categories. And I'm not buying food. I'm dismissing the tooltip. I'm like, nope. Armor is way more important. I really don't need food here. Now, there is the cloak slot now, which makes me pretty happy. I just found the cloak slot, and I'm like, yeah, I need a cloak. This looks nice. I'm hoping there will be a variety of interesting cloaks and other stuff, just cosmetic things. It does a little bit of armor. I think it does 2 armor or something, the cloak, but it's not amazing. I don't think. Okay, so now we're leaving, and I'm out. I still don't have any food, so I think maybe I go to the village and try to buy some food. Maybe that's something that I can do. I have a couple of guys with me, so yeah, I'm going to the village, thinking buying some food might be good. And there's the whole map. So we're in the north. Map hasn't changed. Like, obviously it has changed, but you can still see the old map of Mount and Blade Warband. Like, we're in the northern part, and even some of the towns have the same names, which is not surprising since it's like 200 years before Mount and Blade Warband. So things should still be recognizable. So I'm thinking hostile action, and one of the things that I want to talk about is this screen here. So as you see, you have hostile actions that now also include forcing notables to give me volunteers. I'm not sure how successful that's going to be, but you also see that the structure of the village is very similar to the city. You also have important people here, and you can do quests for these people. It's really, really nice that you're no longer dependent on the random generator for the 3 or 4 quests that villagers used to give in Mount & Blade Warband. Now obviously I can't really say how many quests you're gonna have to improve your relations with these guys, but I'm just gonna hope that there are definitely quite a few, and they're really going for heavy modability, so I'm expecting them to leave that pretty much open to the modders to add more, and then I guess we're gonna see mod packs that just add tons and tons more of the quests over here. So we could force the notables to give us volunteers, or force them to give us the supplies, or we can just raid the thing. So I'm clicking on the notables to force the notables to give volunteers just because I want to see what happens. But yeah, our rogue skill is pretty low, so we're not going to do that. I also didn't want to like piss off this faction where I'm close to, because that might stop me from doing some things. And I find a group of looters. I'm pretty happy to see that these bandit groups are pretty numerous. There are tons and tons of them there, so you're never really idle. We can see the looter, the screen, I guess you guys have already seen. We can attack them, or we can order our troops to attack without us. And now, I'm not sure if the demo version that I was playing had like maybe pushed up the occurrence of brigands and looters so that the press people had as many battles available as they wanted, but I'm not guessing that is the case. I don't think so. And yeah, I definitely could improve my land skills here. I'm delivering some damage, but I don't even think I kill one looter in here. I'm too busy just riding around, but the combat feel is really, really nice. Like, it fits like a glove. Obviously, I would have to train a little bit more with that spear, and you do see the my combat proficiency go up during the video. The later battles are looking much better. I get some kills in. I should have also probably switched to the axe and use that. This is the looting screen, and we're just taking everything at once with that button, which is obviously really, really nice. That is not something that you could do in Warband. You had to click everything. And here we're upgrading our troops. I kind of want to talk about the screen for a little bit. Now, looking at the screen, you see that the different levels of the troops that you have are denoted by those chevrons. So higher level troops have more chevrons. I really like that. I mean, once you played enough Mount & Blade Warband, you kind of knew what kind of tiers the troops were that you were commanding. But if you're like encountering a different faction that you haven't played all that much, this is actually really nice to see what they are running around with. And upgrading still works like Mount & Blade. You click on the upgrade path that you want this specific troop to take. We have one guy that we can upgrade over here, and currently he's costing us 1 ducat, or 1 unit of gold per payday. And then when we upgrade him, he's going to become a Sturgeon Footman, and he's going to cost us 2 per day, or per week, I think. So yeah, let's go after more looters. There was a big looter group. Maybe I should have... Yeah, I actually am attacking those 20 guys at the same time. Now, they don't really have a chance. Like, looters are the bottom of the bandit food chain. Pretty much what you're going to use with your character to get some combat experience and stuff. Now, I experimented a little bit with these troop commands, and they definitely feel a lot better. Like, they're making... they've been made more overt, and they're much easier to use than they used to. So I'm moving these guys forward, just playing around with this a little bit. It's definitely not necessary in a battle like that, because like the troop quality of my guys is better than theirs. Might have been better to keep the archer in the background, but I'm sending everyone to charge now, and I'm riding in, and there's the first kill of the session. You can see that Sigga Willowbark gained a point in 2-hand. That is part of the new skill system that you're going to have, where you actually get better just by using the skills instead of distributing points. Sigga Willowbark gained a skill point in athletics, so you basically get these alerts whenever your companions level up, and I'm guessing you also get those when your skills get better. So we're down to 1 looter. He's going to get slaughtered. Enemies are fleeing. You won the battle, which basically means that you can now stop the fight by pressing tab, end the battle. And then we get that screen. We have some looters that we can take as prisoners. And you can see that Sigga Willowbark has only 56% of her HP left. Okay, at this point, I could go after the looters, but I kind of have to sell things, and I still need to buy the food. You can see in the bottom right corner, I have only 1 unit of food. So we really need to get back to the city. Maybe recruit some more people and sell all the stuff that I have. Now, interestingly enough here, it tells me ransoming prisoners. I can do that via going to the tavern district. And if I do that, I'm going to pause here for a little bit. You can see that we can just ransom all of our prisoners right away from the city menu instead of having to go to the tavern, hope that the ransom broker is there, and then selling all those guys. Man, you can just go in here, get the ransom for the prisoners, and things are fine, which I really like. Okay, so we're going to trade, and if we're going to pause here for a second, what you can see on the right-hand side is there are some notches on the units, and I'm guessing, I haven't really tried it, but from what I've seen, those notches, if you click them, then those things will not be sold, but will stay in your inventory, which is, of course, what we want to do with our saddle horses. We're currently carrying 70 kilos of the 560 that our party can take. So moving on, we'll just see me sell all the things. Obviously, I didn't recognize these notches where I can stop them, but that should allow me to use the sell all button in the future, at least, instead of having to manually move all the things from left to right. Interestingly enough, you still keep the quality grades. You've seen that we've sold like a fine hood. Okay, we're buying the cheese. And we're recruiting more troops. You can see that Tammy the Victualler, who we did the quest for, now allows us to recruit another guy, a higher level guy, one of the footmen. And I think that's the main benefit of doing quests. So if you really try to invest into one city, you'll be able to get higher level troops from there. On the other hand, it feels like the speed at which you can recruit troops is a lot lower, since you're recruiting them just singly. And let's have a look at this one. I'm just going to pause it real quick. So we can take a walk around the castle. We can go to the Lord's Hall or wait here for some time. I'm hoping that they will bring the castles more in line with the cities. Maybe give them a little bit less in terms of goods variety or something. But I really want to be able to sell and buy things at castles, even if it is just a smaller assortment of things, because that is how it worked historically. They definitely were economic centers, not only places where you keep your troops. Okay, let's continue. I'm trying to test that out. I'm going to the Lord's Hall thinking maybe I see something here, but it's really not the case. There's also no one here. I'm pressing the Alt button and all I see is really the castle courtyard. And I think at this point I'm like, okay, I guess there's nothing to do here. Which I hope they're gonna change it. I mean, I can't definitely say that there is no merchant option. Maybe you can also upgrade the castles to have that kind of stuff. That would definitely be really nice. Now if we stop here for a second, you can see that the landholders, or the owners of the various holdings, is being displayed by their coat of arms. They get the color of the faction, so blue or green, but the coat of arms of the lord, let's say, for example, the guy with the stag head and the half moon below it, he owns the town, the green town, but he also owns the 4 villages around it. And this way you can get a really quick glance at who's a powerful landholder without having to go through the almanac of the game, or through the game's wiki basically, and looking the character up and then check out which places he owns. Instead you can just have a look at this and see what lord owns what. Okay, we're just gonna continue here. We're moving into the green area. The looters are being shown in red inside the woods, so that you see that there is a party there. Any friendly troops are being shown in blue. Enemy troops are being shown in red. You can see that there's a caravan, I think. And we're moving into the city. And we would be able to recruit some troops here too, but only the basic ones. High-level ones have been closed off to us for now. Trying this, but I don't really realize that I don't have enough money to do it. I should have. But yeah, I'm clicking on the done and nothing happens. I just don't have the funds for this. I'm moving into the trade area, thinking maybe I can sell some things, but I really don't have anything to sell, so I'm just selling the one thing. And I think I'm going into the tavern now, trying to see if maybe I can get another guy. So as we zoomed out, you could see that the smaller settlements are being faded out and only the big ones remain. And here you can also see what I talked about earlier, that the coat of arms is still being shown here. So the factions also look a lot more varied. Instead of them all having just their names in a certain color, you see what faction they belong to, but also the lords who hold these areas. Let's continue. And zooming out, zooming in. That is our icon. I guess it is always going to have that that look depending on your portrait. I could recruit another companion here if I had the money, so I'm just going real quick through her story. If you want, you can pause the video here. I didn't have the money to recruit her. I wonder how many companions there are going to be, but they're all going to have their individual backstories. Now, I have asked the developer that I talked with at the GamesCom to maybe make them renameable, because that would be nice for me as a YouTuber and a streamer, but it depends on if they have time to do that. You can always change them via a mod, but it would definitely be nice to do it while the game is running, because for modding I have to go out and then change the game file and all that kind of stuff. Okay, so we're in here. I have nothing to sell, and what I'm doing now is there's actually nothing happening, because I am at this point talking with the developer, asking him if there's a way to custom make the swords, because I know there's a mode like that. And he's talking and he says it is in the middle of the city, so if I walk around the town center, I should see like a smithy over there, and you can actually see it in the distance over there. That is where the smith should be, but he then found out that it was actually disabled for this demo, so sadly I couldn't go and make a custom weapon, but that is going to be in the game, and it's going to have its damage calculated realistically depending on the length of the weapon, all that kind of stuff. There's a dev diary for that, so I guess you probably know about that. So I'm here, and I'm still going there, just making sure that the smith is not there, even though that is definitely futile. So yeah, I guess they were not ready to show that at Gamescom. But you can see that like the town looks very, very lived in, very realistic. Those waterfront and clearing that we're seeing here, those red things, those are the points in the city that you can take over, I think, as like a bandit, and then install your own guys there, and maybe siphon off some of the money. So I decided I'm going to do one additional quest. Went to Mengus the Goods Trader, and he's going to engage me to deal with some looters. And the interesting thing is he has some stipulations. He wants us to hunt them down close to the city, so people know that we're doing that. He's going to offer a reward of 1,000 coins, which is pretty nice. Our relations just increased, and he's also offering us a caravan guard for this, so we get one additional man for free from him. That is a really nice thing that I've never seen in Warband so far. He's actually giving us troops for this, because I guess he wants us to succeed. And yeah, now he's sending us out, and we're going to try to hunt down these looters within a day's ride of the town. But we're already getting very close to the end of this, so I'm actually not going to be able to finish this quest. I have to find proper looter parties, so we're gonna run over there, I guess, finding that, just letting time pass. Some of these must be looter parties. This is a looter party for sure, so we're going after these guys inside the woods. I guess it's gonna make for a nice battle scene. This brigand, he really should look and make sure that he doesn't store his spiked club so close to his chest, or his chest must be totally punctured. Okay, so we're coming in here and just trying to take these looters out. They can't really do much. I charge there for a little bit of damage. Already, these battles, they're pretty much done. I'm pretty sure that they started with this when they went about making the game, because the combat needs to feel good. It was always the big strength of Mount and Blade, that the combat is just immaculate, and that is still the case here. That is still the case. These battles feel very, very good, and I can only imagine how they're gonna feel when you have really, really big armies clashing against each other. So we get some loot here, and Now I'm falsely thinking I should have checked what kind of group that is up there with the 5 guys, because those are forest bandits and they're not gonna count. I should have gone down and attacked these guys, these 6 on the right hand side. But yeah, at this point my time with the game was actually at an end, so I had to stop. But there's still a couple of things that I want to talk about in the game, and that is the character screen. So they have a new character system where they basically have a bunch of skills. You have, I think, 18 skills, 2, 4, 6, yeah. They have 18 skills, and you get better. Get better and better at them. You gotta set your skill focus. The higher the level of skill focus is that you have, the faster you learn that skill. But you still have to execute the skill. You still have to use your one-hand weapon to get better at one-handed. You have to ride to get better at riding, and so on, so that things actually happen. We know this from, like, the Elder Scrolls games are the most prominent proponent of this system, and I think it's a really good thing for this as well. The other one did well, but the old system, but I think this is actually a better system just because it reflects more what you are doing. It's going to be interesting to see if it actually encourages some gamey behavior, like doing the training. That's definitely something that I did in Skyrim, like running around casting the same spell 100 times just to get better at that. But you could also say that is actually how mages get better. They just try and try and try until they have the spell down to perfection. So I guess you can always conceptualize that as training in your mind, just necessary training, running around using the one-handed sword on trees or whatever, just trying to get better at sword play. So that is definitely a system that I think is good and that is going to pay nice dividends. I'm not sure how you are going to unlock these perks that you can see in here, but it's probably not finalized at this point. So I guess it's too soon to make any judgment. But so far I think it is definitely a step in the right direction. Having to stop playing Bannerlord after my allotted 23 or 30 minutes really felt like being unplugged from the Matrix. I wanted to continue playing so bad, but I mean, I guess the other press people also needed their time, but it was a really, really good experience. I think they have the campaign gameplay and the combat gameplay nailed down. Tons and tons of interface improvements. There's no comparison. I've been playing Mount and Blade, Warband, and Viking Conquest the last couple of days, ever since I came home from Gamescom. And it's just cumbersome at times when you want to give your companion an item. You're going to have to go through 3 or 4 menus. That's no longer going to be the case. It's just much more fluid, and it really doesn't take anything away, because that's not what you want to do when you're playing Mount and Blade. You don't want to click through menus. You actually want to be doing and talking with people, fighting with people, increasing your influence, all that kind of stuff. And the improvements to the interface really make me a lot happier with the fact that they are taking their time and that they are insisting on releasing the game only when it's ready. It hurts because you want to play the game, but it already does show that it has like a high level of polish. And I think if they can keep that polish over all stages of the game, we haven't really seen anything past the early game at this point that I could actually play. But this early game definitely does work like a charm. It keeps all the engaging core gameplay loop from Mount and Blade and Mount and Blade Warband, and just improves on it a ton with the interface improvements, the extremely improved graphics, and then also I can't wait to see like the deeper systems that underlie that. Having those quests are great no longer, and being able to recruit in cities, having those notables where you can increase your relation with them and then they give you better troops. All that feels like it has been, like it's an organic extension of what Mount and Blade Warband was. You already had that kind of increase to the depth of the game when they made the step from Mount and Blade to Mount and Blade Warband. They added the ability to have your own kingdom. They added the ability to marry. They added tons and tons of things from Mount and Blade to Mount and Blade Warband, and this feels like they bring it to a whole other level just because the interface is so much better. They made a new engine for it, and that all works out. I can't wait to play siege battles and like huge battles between rivaling lords. That is all something that makes me very, very optimistic for the future. Now, I've seen an interview where they have been asked how much is ready, and they said early game is ready, but they still got to do some late game stuff and then polish that. But what I played was a very polished version that you could definitely also see in a release game. And I'm really hoping that the release is pretty soon. So yeah, thanks for watching my gameplay video and analysis. I'll try to cover Mount & Blade Bannerlord, Mount & Blade 2 Bannerlord on the channel, and I'm definitely going to play it when it comes out, either on the stream or on YouTube, or both probably. And yeah, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, and see you in one of my other videos. Bye bye.